Hello, my name is Emma, and welcome to your Restorative Yin Yoga class for sleep and relaxation. So, this class is going to be very simple. All you're really going to need is a wall, because a lot of our postures, we're only going to be doing about 3 to 4 postures, but these postures are mostly going to be resting our legs up the wall in some sort of variation. So provided you have a wall or a bed or something you can rest your feet and legs on in a upward direction. If you have a yoga mat as well, that's great. Have a bit of water for in between poses to stay hydrated. And aside from that, you should be fine. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, finding yourself comfortably up against a wall. If you have a yoga mat, rest your mat up against the wall, or if you have a carpet or just a surface that's comfortable to lie on. And wriggle your hips maybe 30 centimeters away from the wall. Give a bit of space between your hips and the wall, resting your feet up the wall, and adjust your hips around as much as you need to get comfortable. And if you want to come in closer, come in closer. If you want to lie further back, you can. I tend to like being about 30 centimeters away from the wall. That's a good space. And what we're going to do just to get started is close our eyes, wriggle around a little bit through your shoulders and your hips just to make sure your spine is comfortable. You might want to roll around through your ankles on the wall. Maybe you want to take your foot away from the wall so that friction isn't there, and roll in the other direction. And then rest that foot down, lift up the other one. And come back in the other direction. And then rest that other foot down. And you can do the same with your hands if you like, just making circles. And then coming back in the other direction with your hands. Okay, so resting your hands down, palms facing up, eyes are closed. If you want to turn through your head just a little bit, to open up, relax any tension through your neck, you can do that. So these poses that we're about to go into, we're going to stay in them for about 3 to 5 minutes. As an estimation, I don't have a timer on me, but just around about that time. And once you're comfortable, the idea is to stay still. So that's the principle of Yin Yoga, finding that point where you're feeling a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of an opening without causing yourself pain. Then once you're there, you kind of hold the pose and stay still. But this class has a little more of a restorative flavor to it. It's a bit more restful. We're not really overtly stretching too much. So it's more about just really resting and softening into the posture. So we're going to stay here now, eyes are closed. Just let your body rest, let your feet kind of feel heavy, sinking into the wall. Soften through your face and your jaw. Relax your shoulders and your arms. Soften through your hands. Allow your hips to feel heavy. You soften through your fingers. And now, keeping your eyes closed, we're just going to relax into our breath. Just allowing yourself to naturally breathe, just noticing your breath. Comfortable for you, you're breathing in and out through your nose. If you find you need to breathe out through your mouth, well, that's what's natural for you, you can do that too. It tends to be more relaxing for your nervous system to breathe through your nose, just in the way it functions. But I'm going to generally bring my talking for the most part to a stop for a little bit, for about 3 minutes, 3 or so minutes. And we're just going to relax into this posture. Let your body relax. Just breathing, noticing your breath, and resting here. If you notice while you're here and you need to adjust your body a bit because you're uncomfortable, you're welcome to do that. But after you've done that, you want to stay still again. So you might hear my breathing changing or being a bit more louder. It's just my nervous system changing states and as I'm in this posture with you. So if that's happening with you as well, just go with it. Let your breath do what it wants to do. I'm going to stay here for about 60 seconds longer. Just notice your breathing. And if you're curious about how your body might be breathing, often when we start breathing out through our mouth or we have more heavier breathing, that can be connected to a state shift in our nervous system. But I often experience it as a pressure being released through my breath, a pressure in my nervous system, maybe that's emotional, physical tension, and it just kind of gets released through that heavier breathing, like a dissolving of pressure and tension in your body or emotions. So it's just all that to say it's generally a good thing and to allow it to occur. Okay, so very gently, we're just going to wheel our toes a little bit in our fingers and very gently hug your knees into chest. Just to release a bit of pressure through your lower back. Breathing into your belly. and rocking left to right. And as you're ready, we're going to come back to center, and we're going to place our feet down. Wriggle your hips back a little bit. If you want to take this moment to take a little bit of water, you can. I will do that because I'm talking. We're now coming into a posture which is a variation of butterfly pose in Yin Yoga. It's an up the wall version. So you may need to really play around with what feels comfortable for you here, like how far away your hips need to be from the wall. I'm going to give you an example now. So the butterfly pose is where your kind of knees fall open, hence creating that winged effect. Now, this is often done on the floor, so imagine your feet right now would actually be resting on the floor, so you'd have like a wider stretch through the insides of your hips in this pose. But in this one, it's up the wall, so it's a different type of opening. I tend to feel it more through my inner thighs, but it depends how gravity is holding your legs on the wall. So I've noticed I feel like I often need to have my hips a little further back, and my feet and my knees are not going to be as bent unless you want to go into a really deep butterfly pose, and that's up to you. But I keep it extended because it's more comfortable for my body. So you've got to find a position that feels comfortable, where you don't feel like you're having to hold your legs up too much, where gravity is supporting you more. That can be just a slight opening like I've got going on here, or you can have a little bit deeper. Just feel into your legs. You don't want to feel like you're really propping your knees up. So I'm going for slightly extended. And if you find in this posture you can't quite get comfortable, you can also separate your feet a little bit or straighten them out a little bit and just do a more like open legs up the wall. You're going to get a deeper stretch through the inner thighs here too. So play around with which one feels better for you. You might want to start with this one for a minute or two and then shift to opening. So once you're comfortable, close your eyes, and once you find your posture, then stay still. I might personally do a mixture of both, the butterfly and then the opening, but you can choose between either or both as well. Okay. So I'm going for, just if you're looking at this, a very subtle version of the butterfly pose. Your knees might be further out. So you just feel into what your body needs today. Eyes are closed. We're going to stay here for a couple of moments. And if you are doing both, at the halfway point, I'll let you know, and you can switch to the more open legs up the wall as well for a different type of stretch. Or you could stay in this butterfly type of position. And just breathing here, letting your body relax. One thing you may notice, your eyes are closed as well, if they're not already, but one thing you may notice when we're doing a lot of leg work, up the wall work, or just opening of the inner thighs, sometimes you can get a bit of shaking through your legs, and the legs tend to hold a lot of tension, stored stress. So I'm even noticing my legs shaking a little bit now. This is just a somatic process through your nervous system. It's a positive thing. It's a way of releasing tension through your body muscularly, through your nervous system. So if that's happening, it's a good thing. Your body's just shaking stress out. It's kind of like what animals do in nature when they naturally regulate their nervous system after a moment of stress. So don't be alarmed if that's happening, and if that's too much for you, you can just ease your legs out of it. Also, this deeper stretching can access deeper tissues in the muscles, which can start releasing tension and pressure, bringing about that kind of same effect. I'm going to stop talking so you can focus on yourself. Eyes are closed. So this could be the halfway point for you if you like, or if you're finding this too strong, you could stretch your legs out and then just separate your feet that little bit more. From the first legs up the wall, let your feet rest heavy into the wall and just rest here for about 2 minutes. We'll be here just that little bit longer, remembering to let your breath naturally do what it wants to do, observing your breathing. So very gently, like we did before, gently wriggle through your fingers, your toes. I'm going to be really slow about this, about shifting into the next movement, because those postures can be quite deep through our legs. So we want to very gently bend our knees, draw them into chest, very slowly, kind of applying a bit of tenderness to yourself, breathing into your belly. You may want to roll through your ankles, just release any kind of tension from being still for so long. And then just rock left to right softly, just to create a little bit of movement through your lower back. And gently coming back to center and placing your feet up against the wall again, just shifting your hips back a little bit so there's kind of like a right angle. Jumper away from my neck, kind of like a right angle underneath your calves and your thighs. a box shape to the best of your ability with the room that you have. Okay, so before we go into this next posture, for safety reasons for your neck, I guide you to please not turn your head while we do this. So you want to gently tuck your chin towards your throat. Your head is resting on the ground. The back of your neck is elongated, but we're keeping our head and our neck still, just so we don't cause any pinching through our neck as we're going to be lifting our hips off the ground. And as you're doing that, that's going to create a pressure through your back muscles. And if you're turning your head, you can kind of accidentally create a bit of pinching. So we're not going to do that. Palms are facing down, arms are lengthened. So you're using your hands to support you. We're gently pressing into our feet. Our feet are about hip width apart. And we're only going to lift our hips off the ground a little bit, a few inches, just to get started. So take a deep breath in. Breathe out. And then gently press into your feet, just lifting your hips off the ground a little bit. And then gently lower down. I'm going to bring my hips in a little bit closer, my feet up a little bit higher, just because I'm in a smaller space. I need to, but you can stay where you are. Take another breath in. Breathe out. Lifting your hips off the ground. Just a little bit of pressure, keeping your chin tucked, not turning your head. You can just look along your nose. And then gently roll your spine down, kind of one vertebra at a time. I'm going to do that one more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then gently lifting your hips off the ground, pressing into your feet. Looking along your nose. Head is still looking straight ahead. And then gently lower down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Softly hugging your knees into chest again. Breathing into your belly, gently rocking left to right. Just keep that rocking. This creates a regulation through your nervous system as well. Anything that crosses over the left and right side of our body helps to regulate our nervous system. I believe that has something to do with the left and right side of our brain, from my understanding anyway. Okay, very gently, you're going to come back to center. And before we go into our final posture today, if you'd like to, gently find your way up into a seated position, hopefully more gracefully than what I just did. Have a little bit of water. And we're going to come into the final posture, which is called Shavasana, corpse pose, the lying down posture at the end, which is very passive but very powerful, which is why it's always done in every class, or at least is supposed to be. So I'm in a hallway space, so I'm not going to be able to do this lengthways. So you're going to see me on an angle basically, but staying on your mat, I'm not because of space, but you stay on your mat, gently rolling yourself down, letting your head rest on the ground. And you want to rest your feet about hip width apart, letting your feet splay open, wriggle around through your hips so they're comfortable. Palms are facing up to the ceiling or the sky, gently tucking through your chin. The back of your neck is elongated. Closing your eyes. If you need to move around through your hips so your lower back is comfortable, you can do that. Or through your shoulders so your shoulder blades are comfortable, or your neck, you might want to turn your head left to right. Now, if you're noticing that your lower back feels a little bit tender and vulnerable, you have the other option. Instead of doing Shavasana, you could gently bend through your knees, place your hips a little bit more than hip width apart, and turn your knees in towards each other. So not too much more than hip width apart, maybe just that tiny little bit. Letting your knees rest in towards each other, palms facing up. And eyes are closed. So you've got both options. I'm going to go with the knees one today, and you can just decide which one feels better. But in either way, we're staying still. My socks are sliding a little bit if I'm wriggling around. I'm on floorboards. But eyes are closed. And just breathing here. I'm going to stay generally quiet. We just want to focus on our breath. I'm not going to do a guided yoga nidra here. I'm just going to let our bodies naturally relax for a couple of minutes just to settle and integrate. Remember, your eyes are closed. Just observing your breathing, letting your breath naturally flow in and out of your body into your belly. Without too much force, you're just, for the most part, watching it. If you notice you're not breathing, you just remember to make sure that happens. Okay, staying still for a moment here. If you are doing these movements, prepare to go to bed, go to sleep, and you're all ready for bed, gently take this moment. You might want to turn the video off here and just let yourself go to sleep. And if you are doing this video for relaxation purposes and you're continuing with your day, very gently wriggle through your fingers and toes and just gently roll your knees over to the right side, placing your left hand on the ground, gently pressing yourself up into a seated position. Okay, so if we're still here, have a sip of water. One of the reasons I suggest water is because I enjoy doing it, but also in these deeper postures or yoga in general, we're doing a lot of deep breathing. So we're flowing a lot of oxygen through our bloodstream, and that can create like a cleansing response in our body. We're digging deep into our muscles, which can create like a cleansing, detoxifying process, a bit like massage. So you want to flush that movement that's happening in your body through your system. It's really helpful for our brain to have enough hydration as well. And it helps just balance our bodies, our psyches out with enough hydration. So that's the reason there. Thank you so much for being here in this class. I'd love to know how you went. It was very gentle but deep. I can feel that my body probably wants a moment to ground after that as well. So if you're feeling the same way, have something to eat, be gentle with yourself, maybe go outside if the weather is warm enough or comfortable enough for you, or do something that helps you feel really connected to your body and ground. Also, with these deeper classes that go deeper at a somatic level, sometimes we can have emotions come up to be processed, or like that shaking response, stress release after. If you notice anything like that happening for you, it's pretty normal and natural, so don't be too spooked. But if you find you've accessed something a little bit deeper in you, like maybe a trauma or a stress, a held stress or pattern in you, or some emotions that you feel you need a bit of help with, always seek out your support through whatever counselling or social support networks or systems you have. Your local GP is a great resource. So remember to get the help you might need if you access something deeper through this deeper yoga type somatic work. So thank you for being here. I will list my other yin yoga style classes and meditations in the description. And I've also started a membership on Patreon for the meantime, as I'm in the process of growing my channel to get a membership on the YouTube side as well. So if you'd like to join that, there'll be extra monthly classes in this Patreon membership, and there's a small monthly fee, but you'll have a more personalized access to me in those classes. You can ask questions for the types of videos you'd like, and maybe suggest the types of meditations you'd like, what topics you'd like me to cover, and all that kind of thing. So if you'd like to join me there, the link will be in the description as well. Okay, thank you for being here. Bye-bye.